Hey gang, thanks for tuning in. Street Fighter 6 has been out for about a week now, and while that's still incredibly early to be making a tier lists are fun, and we are getting a good bit of data already this early in the game's life to kind of get an understanding as to where the cast might fall. There's been competitive play happening in online tournaments. We've all been in the ranked ladder ourselves in week one, so this is going to change like crazy over the span of Street Fighter 6 existing. But I think for now, we kind of have a good bit of data to make an informed tier list. And we'll see how this changes even by EVO of this summer, because I'm sure there's a lot of top players labbing, not letting out some of their own tech. But from our own experience so far, let's get into the week one Street Fighter 6 tier list. So let me preface this with a bit of context. A lot of you might not have been, viewing my videos on the channel just yet. So to give you an idea, I play Honda and Blanca. You can tune out now if you want with that context. But I'm a Honda and a Blanca player. I played Honda in Street Fighter 5, Bison in Street Fighter 4, and I think now in Street Fighter 5, the charge characters, particularly Honda and Blanca, they've been my favorites. So that's kind of my experience and how the lens I'm looking through with some of the matchups I've faced. So I'm trying to be as objective as possible and not really doing matchup-based tier list decisions. But I'll start with my two guys. Honda is A tier. He has a lot of good tools. He was a pest in Street Fighter 5, and he's still a pest in Street Fighter 6. There's a lot of matchup knowledge that will help in countering Honda, but even once you get to learn how to fight against that character, he still has a really well-rounded tool set. So I think this is the best version of Honda we've seen in Street Fighter since maybe Street Fighter 2 when his strength was a bit unbalanced, but A tier for Honda in week one of Street Fighter 6 I think is fair. Blanca I think is really similar. I'm putting him in B, but I also want to say, of course in Street Fighter 6 the cast has a universal tool set in a lot of ways. The drive system, it gives a lot of characters that didn't have mobility new versions of mobility. And ways to counter certain moves that maybe they couldn't do in previous games. So even when we get to D tier, those characters can still potentially compete competitively. And S tier, I think right now S tier is a description of characters that have all the tools. They might not be overpowered. I don't think anyone in the cast is busted. I think it's a nice, well-balanced game at launch. But again, time will tell if that's true. I have Blanca in B tier. He has a nice, variety of tools. He's pretty mobile. He has some safe and strong long-range normals, good damage, and good mix-ups. Again, matchup knowledge it definitely helps against Blanca, so you understand what he has at his disposal and what he might try and mix you up with. But I think he's still strong. He doesn't have as much invincibility, of course, on his Blanca ball compared to Honda, for example. There are certain things that make me say Honda might be a tier above Blanca. But for my two characters, that's where I place them. So now this is going to be my pick for the strongest character in the game right now. There's a few I have in S tier. But the highest in S tier is DJ. I don't think he has any flaws. He has some mix-up possibilities with his feint moves, like the light versions of his fireball and his kick special. That adds a lot of variety into his approach and can keep the enemy guessing. But even outside of just mix-ups and mental games, DJ doesn't have weaknesses. He's a strong reversal. He has good combo damage. He's strong at range in the fireball game and up close. He's a force. And again, not busted. He's not a broken character where he's too strong, but he doesn't have many flaws. At the moment, I think DJ is the strongest character in the game. We'll see if that rings true. I could be totally off, but I think even in competitive play, we might see a couple pro players learn him and win tournaments with DJ. I think that we'll see some DJ tournament wins in the Capcom Cup series. Now, I mentioned S tier is not broken. D tier doesn't mean they're useless. I think that there's just... Jamie is a character where he requires a lot to get to the point of being oppressive. There are a lot of characters that can be oppressive and tough to deal with. Jamie has good normals. He has quick, jabs and light kicks, and he can be tough to deal with. He has a safe long-range palm that is safe on block at a certain range, and he has a lot of good tools, good damage, but I think at the moment he needs his drinks stacks to do comparable damage to other characters in the roster. And unlike someone like Manon, his drink stacks don't carry on round to round, where Manon, her metal stacks do. Her damage is nuts. We're seeing a lot of top players, IDOM being, in week 1, maybe the strongest player in Street Fighter 6. He was a really strong Street Fighter 5 player. And it's seeming like when he's going against other pros in like things like online tournaments, he's been kind of just running the table with Manon. There are a lot of top players that are picking Manon and doing well with her, so it's interesting to see. Now, she does have weaknesses. I don't think she's quite S tier. When you start pressuring her, she doesn't have the best reversal options. Her neutral game is okay. I think she has a strong neutral game in some ways, but a lot of her normals are pretty negative on block, so it's tough for her to get away with some of her pokes that she might want to try, unless she goes and uses her drive meter and using drive rush to get some more frame advantage on her normals. But regardless, she has her weaknesses, but her damage is nuts. And her stacks carrying over round to round. By the time you're in round 3, it's rare to find a Manon that's not at 4 or 5 stacks by round 3 if it gets that far. So, I don't know. She's really strong. We'll see how the balance team at Capcom handles Manon. But they're probably going to be keeping a close eye on her because she's going to be strong. Maybe she is S tier. I'm putting her in A. Just because of some of her weaknesses. But yeah, strong character. Now, I was talking about some of these resources, like Jamie needing his drinks to really be as strong as some of the other cast. Someone else who uses these resources and relies on them to have tools that the other cast might already have is Lily. I think Lily's solid. I think that she's not a bad character. There are, strong players doing good things with Lily. I don't know if I want her in C tier or B tier. She needs her win stacks to apply better pressure with her Condor Spire. Spire's the one that goes straight, the gun, the T-Hawk gun. At a certain distance, if you kind of space it right, it's safe on block without the win stacks. But otherwise, she relies on win stacks a bit to apply a good bit of pressure safely. Good damage. She is a strong grappler. Using a 360 motion like Zangief, they gave her a good bit of damage on her command grabs. So I'm going to have her in B tier. I put her in C to start, but I'm bumping her up to B. I think there is a lot of potential with Lily. She's a bit polarizing. I think there are a lot of people that think she's terrible, a lot of people that think she could be S tier. I'm putting her right in the middle. I think it's going to be interesting to see how people use Lily. she could be totally absent from pro tournaments, or she could be a force. I'm putting her in B. I think she has weaknesses. I think she has strengths. I think she's balanced. She has a strong DP, good damage that she can convert into from something like an EX DP. So I'm putting her in B tier. I think she's a good character. Maybe I should put her higher, maybe lower. Tough to say. Anyway, on to the next. So this one, people might disagree, but I think Kimberly is D tier. Can I move these? Yeah, I think Kimberly is better than Jamie. I'm going to prioritize these left to right in these lists. So let me move some things around while I say that. I think Manon might be over Honda. I think Lily might be better than Blanca. I'm going to kind of have like the higher side of A tier towards the left. I think Kimberly is D tier. She has a lot of good tools. She has a quick overhead, and new players are going to struggle against a Kimberly. I did, and then I learned how to play against her, and there's a lot of ways that you can counter her play. She's a big mix-up character, kind of like a Blanca, but I don't think she has as many safe moves as somebody like Blanca does. I don't think her normals are as strong. She's fast. When she gets her level 3 super going, she gets even faster and does more damage. So she could even be C tier. I want her in D tier. That's what I'm set on. I think she's the high end of D tier, but that's where I have her. And I'm going to round out D tier now. It's Geef. Look, you have people like Snake Eyes, for example, who make Geef like crazy strong. They place well in tournaments. Like I mentioned, D tier does not mean the character is ass. I think that Zangief is solid in the right hands. I don't think he has the same tools that a lot of the other cast does to make them as strong as possible, but he's better than Jamie. I have him above Jamie. I think Zangief will see more success from Zangief players online in tournaments than we will from Jamie players. Maybe I'm wrong, but still, Zangief has a lot of disadvantages. A lot of characters that don't have a fireball may have a way of getting in quickly, like Honda or Blanca getting in, Lily getting in, Kimberly dashing in, Cammy, always having mobility strength. So I have Zangief in D tier. I think there have been worse versions of Zangief in previous games, like Street Fighter V, I think was a worse Zangief. I think Street Fighter 4 Geef was better than 6. Anyway, moving on. Another big body. I got Marisa in C tier. There have been some strong Marisa players, or Marisa, excuse my pronunciation. There are a lot of strong Marisa players, and a lot of them. I think she's been a popular character in general. I think that there's a lot of counterplay to her, though. Almost similar to a JP, who I'll get to next. Early on, lack of character and matchup knowledge has made Marisa strong. And she does have a lot of strengths. She has a nice counter, armor on a lot of her moves that has windows of getting through it, but she does have some armor moves. Great damaging combos, really oppressive in the corner. So she's not D tier. I'm not putting her there. I think she is a strong character. Putting her in C, though, I think she has a lot of exploitable weaknesses. Now, Jay Pizzle, I just compared him to Marisa in a way where matchup knowledge definitely helps against this character. That being said, I think he's high B tier. He could. I'm tempted to put him in A tier. Yeah, he's A tier. So he has one of the strongest counters in Street Fighter history. His counter, it is very punishable, so you can bait it out and punish it. Kind of like a DP, where there's a good punish window if you think it might be coming. But it stops throws, it stops command grabs, it stops supers. It's a really strong move that I think is just a great tool that no one else in the cast has. And that's just one of his tools. He has great zoning. He has a good mix-up at range where they're not on him to be a threat, but he has overheads, lows, long-range command grabs, really good damage potential. He can convert his combos into really solid damage to finish out rounds. We're going to see a lot of JP in tournament play. A lot of people are picking him up and finding success with him. He might not be as oppressive once the game ages a bit and everyone begins to learn how to play against JP and how to get in on him, but still really strong character. He might even win some tournaments. I wouldn't be surprised. I think some tournament winners, we're going to see DJ, Manon, JP, and I think Ken. We're going to see some... I have Honda here in A tier. Let's put JP ahead of him. So these top 4 that I have so far, those are my predictions so far for potential major tournament winners. Really strong characters. Ken is another one like DJ where I don't see weaknesses in his tool set. Like, he has good combo conversion damage, good mix-ups. He can get in quickly. He can still play the fireball game. He just does big damage. Kind of like what I was just saying about JP. He can close out a round with a nice high damaging combo if he is able to convert and, see something like a long range normal hit. He's a strong character. I have him in S tier. I think he's stronger than somebody like Ryu. I have Ryu in A tier. Again, a lot of good combo potential, good damage. I think that he's a bit more predictable in a lot of ways than Ken can be. So I think Ken might catch players off guard more than the Ryu matchup. But still, I think this is the best version of Ryu we've ever seen. He's the least bland Ryu. He's the most fun to play. He's fun to watch, too. I think that it's the best version of Ryu. He has all the tools that you could ask for from his previous versions of Street Fighter. So I think Ryu's A tier. Really solid character. Someone else that's A tier, this is getting a bit crowded, is Guile. I might put Guile ahead of Ryu there. Maybe ahead of Honda as well. I think he's kind of right here within the A tier. Guile's solid. He, again, has a lot of tools. He can punish his level 1 super, which your super meter is not used for EX or overdrive like OD moves in Street Fighter 6. So your super meter is just used for level 1, 2, and 3 supers. His level 1 super is a really nice punish. If you see someone like Blanca abusing a heavy ball, and the heavy ball usually bounces Blanca back to safety, Guile's level 1 can come out quickly and catch Blanca on that way back. So there are a lot of things that Guile can punish that maybe other members of the cast have a harder time punishing. Really strong fireball game. I mean, the best fireball game. Him and DJ are up there in Street Fighter 6. So, of course, really strong anti-airs. You can't jump on Guile. Good combo conversions from something like an anti-air. Really strong normals. He always has had strong normals. And poking works in Street Fighter 6. Drive impact makes it a bit more strategic. You can't just kind of throw out long-range normals with somebody like Guile like you used to be able to. But still really strong mid-range neutral game. So I have Guile in A tier as well. Now, one of the ones that's looking a bit lonely down here is Marisa in C tier. So I am putting Jury down there in C as well, behind Marisa in C tier. I think Jury is fine. Again, people can compete with Jury. I think that she doesn't have as much damage output as some of the other members of the cast. She has to work a bit harder to win rounds. I think there is a lot of setup needed with her. She always has needed setup to throw her fireballs, but I think it's especially punishable in Street Fighter 6 with a lot of the quick close-in moves that the rest of the cast has. She has a strong DP, like she always has, with her wheel kick, and her supers can end up closing out rounds pretty nicely. I have her in C tier for now, though. I think there are just better options than Jury that fit the same mold. Like, why not play Ken over Jury? I think there are comparable characters that do more with similar tools. Now, speaking of combo potential and damage potential, Chun-Li is another one where I think I have her in B tier. I think she was stronger in the beta. I'm not exactly sure what changed from the beta to the full game, but I've noticed that Chun has not been as high damaging. Even in the beta, she was kind of low damage. She had to work a good bit with multiple combo setups, multiple conversions into supers to really get damage off that other members of the cast can get off with less resources. But she's still solid. I think in the right hands, Chun is a really strong character. A lot of people are saying she's like one of the most skill-intensive characters on the roster, which is true. But I think even getting in the lab with Chun for a little bit will allow you to have success with her in something like a ranked online setting. She's a solid character. All the tools you can need. A great DP that, she had her current DP, like the rising kick. I forget what it's called. It's not spinning bird kick, which is kind of like her previous DP in Street Fighter V. Her EX spinning bird kick was her DP. I think in Street Fighter 4 as well. But now she has a different one. It's a quick input. The EX version's air invincible. Nice reversal. That gives her a new tool. Really good high-low mix-ups in neutral. She has good pressure options, can push people to the corner. She can break through drive impact with something like lightning legs or spinning bird kick, so good counters to drive impact. And she has a nice fireball that helps her approach safely. Good tools. Chun-Li's very well-rounded. She could be high B. I might even put her high B here instead of behind these two. I think she has a lot of good tools, maybe just lacking a bit of damage that would have put her in the A tier. Similar, I have Luke in B. I'm putting Luke below Lily and Blanca, though. I think he's kind of low B. He could even be down here. He's a solid character, another good like Shoto style. Not as much damage as other members of the cast. He has, I guess, he's a bit more predictable, not as strong, like safe tools as other members of the cast as well. We have yet to see a good bit of Luke used at high levels successfully, so maybe I'll be proven wrong. I think he's balanced. I don't think he's terribly weak, but there are better options. Kind of like what I was saying about Jury. I might even bump Luke down. I think that you might have more success playing Jury than you would playing Luke. So I think this might be a better place for Luke here at the end of the C tier. Man, I even want to put Kimberly up here now that I'm thinking about it. Let's move some things around. I think this is where we're going to be. So we have two left. Dhalsim, Sim, and Cammy. I think we'll start with Dhalsim. He was the best version of himself in Street Fighter V. I think he was better in Street Fighter V than he is in Street Fighter 6. But only by a slim margin. I think he kept all the tools, really. I think there are just a lot of ways to punish him. He's a bit less safe in Street Fighter 6. And he wasn't, you had to be kind of on your Dhalsim game to be safe with him in Street Fighter 5. That being said, I have Dhalsim in S tier. He is, so this goes against my rule of S tier so far, where I think DJ and Ken have very limited weaknesses. I think Dhalsim does lack a good reversal game. His level 2 and level 3 supers are invincible on startup. Frame 1 is invincible on level 2 and 3 supers. So those are technically his reversals. I think he has a nice jab strategy. If he's like in the corner, for example, usually a jab can get you out pretty safely, and then you can teleport and get back to your own sort of speed of the match. But, you know, that being said, I think that's his main weakness is if you pressure Dhalsim, get him off his game, he has limited options. But depending on your strategy, you can keep somebody at bay. You can start at that speed and then go in and catch somebody off guard with a really aggressive strategy. There are a lot of styles that go into a complete Dhalsim player that make him unpredictable, make him tough to get in on. And then even when you do get in, he can just kind of reset with teleports, get a nice close range combo for high damage. He's a lot of good potential, a lot of good damage. He can tick you away with his long range game and then get in, do a level 3 super combo and end the round. So I think he's a very well-rounded character. He has weaknesses. I'm putting him at the bottom of S tier. I think a more solid pick is DJ or Ken. I think we will see a lot of Dhalsim players like Filipino Champ, for example, place highly in pro tournaments. I think that we'll see Dhalsim in top 8s. Maybe we'll see some major like Capcom Cup tournament wins from a Dhalsim player. I'm not as confident about that as I am about these 4. I still have him above Manon and JP. I think that he is a stronger character, but I think Manon and JP, we might just see more tournament wins out of them. That's my prediction. Cammy, we have seen some tournament wins from. Punk won a DreamHack offline tournament during week 1 of Street Fighter 6. People have been putting Cammy at the top of the tier list, at the bottom of the tier list. I think she's solid. I think she has weaknesses. I think she has a lot of safe specials and safe normals. Her jab is awesome. She has a lot of good damage conversion potential. I have Cammy at the top of B tier. I think she's the best of those 4 in B tier. In the right hands, she's a tournament winner potentially. She could be sneaking up and winning more offline tournaments like Punk has already done. I think she has weaknesses. She could be kept at bay by a character like JP, for example. But I don't think she's weak. I think she has a lot of good tools, a lot of safe tools. I think she's a solid character. That's worth picking up. People have said that she's terrible. I don't think she's terrible. But yeah, I think this is my tier list. This is where I want it to be. I moved up Kimberly a bit. I think this is good. This is where I'm at. There are some that I could be very wrong about. Marisa, I could be very wrong about. Zangief, I could be very wrong about. But this is where I'm at. Week 1, tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm putting out Street Fighter 6 vids multiple times a week. So if you're into that kind of content, especially Honda and Blanca, subscribe. There's going to be more. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Where do you disagree? This could be all turned on its head in a month. So let me know what you think about the tier list placements. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you out there in Street Fighter 6.